So I've been asked quite recently how I've been recording my Raspberry Pi desktop, and the trick that I've been using is actually I've not been screen recording the Pi. I've been screen recording my Mac, and I can just control my Pi by remote desktop in. It's quite easy to do, and I've been asked to show how to do it. So now this is my Raspberry Pi. I'm accessing mine through my computer so I can screen record it, but I'll guess that you just have it plugged into a monitor and you've got your keyboard and mouse and you've installed whatever it's called, the default operating system, Raspbian. But this should work on any Debian based Linuxy type thing. So the first thing I do is just make sure that my operating system is up to date. Let's just make the font a bit bigger so we can see what's going on. Okay, so I've opened Terminal, and then before I install anything, I want to do apt get update. Well, sudo apt get update, and this will tell your operating system about all the different packages and dependencies and versions and what the latest are. It won't actually do anything, it'll just tell them. So just getting a list of all the latest packages and whatnot. There we go. Actually, I'm going to, yeah, there we go. So once you've done that, you want to do get and then upgrade, which will upgrade all the packages on your computer so they're up to date. I won't do that now because I've done it previously and I don't want to just be waiting while it does nothing. So then the next thing you want to do is install what's called Untitled Vnc Server. So that's install Untitled Vnc Server. Sorry, that's not at all. It's apt get install. So sudo apt get install Untitled Vnc Server. Mine should say it's already installed. Come on. So it should say installed and latest, but yours will say, do you want to install? And just press Y. And then that's pretty much it. You've installed the VNC server that you're going to connect to. But one thing you might want to do is edit your Raspberry Pi so it has a static IP address, which is quite easy to do. Just type sudo nano etc network interfaces, and this will show you a file that's got all the settings for your network interface. So if you've not edited this before, these lines here will be missing, and this will say DHCP. So you want to make sure that instead of saying DHCP it says static, and then you put in these 5 lines. Address is the address of the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. So I've just given it a random one. Make sure you're on I'm on a private class C networks. This is 192.168, but you want to check that these line up to your own network settings. You can check what they are by ifconfig if you want to see what mine, because I've already changed mine, that's my IP address, but this will help you get an idea of what your network settings already are. And so what I usually do then, even though you don't really need to, because you can just pull the interfaces down and back up again, but what I do is just reboot the computer, which probably because I'm a Windows user and I'm used to that kind of thing. sudo shutdown -r now will restart the computer for you, or your Raspberry Pi for you. Then when it's back up again, you want to excuse me, you want to start a Vnc server. So you type Vnc server, and then you need, this is the name of the display. So we're going to run this on display 1, and that will do. But also, if you want, you can do things like set the resolution. So I like just to have it something like that. So it's just a nice, neat, small kind of thing for my Mac. You can set the DPI if you want. 64 is usually okay. And then when you do that, it might ask you for a password. Mine's already running, so I won't do that. And you just enter a password that you want. So that every time you connect, it'll ask you for this password. So that's it on the Raspberry Pi. You're all set up and ready to go. The one thing I'd note is that this isn't very secure. If you're doing this, if you're just hacking around with your Pi, this is fine. If you're doing it over the internet, people can see all your traffic and whatnot. So it's not very secure. You want to do it over something more secure. So that's it on the Pi. You then want to go to your Mac or your Windows machine, and you'll need a VNC viewer. So now I'm back at my very messy desktop. To connect to the Pi that you've just set up, you need what's called a VNC viewer. If you Google VNC viewer, you'll find one. There's lots of free ones. This one's called Chicken of the VNC. You just open your viewer, press new connection. It'll be similar on Windows. You'll get these options. Put the IP address in here. That was not the IP address. That's the IP address. We set a display to 1 before, and it didn't ask me for a password because I'd already done it, but it should have asked you for a password. Just put your password in here and then connect. And it will connect you to your Raspberry Pi. And now if you want to film it, you just use whatever filming software you use on the Mac. You can just use QuickTime. Go to QuickTime, File, New Screen, Recording. I can't do it at the moment because I'm already recording. If you're on Windows, there's some good ones. It's called OBS, I think, the good one for Windows. Open Broadcast Software. Something like that. There's a few out there which are good and open source. But then you can record your Pi.